welcome to another edition of the Jaeger FC Community Spotlight Talk Conversation. Danny, Ingle, Gabe, Farias.
Hello.
Danny, I keep screwing the name up of this, our own podcast.
What's the podcast called?
It's called the Jaeger, Zach?
FC?
Community Spotlight, presented by Jaeger FC.
It's called the Community Spotlight,
Wow.
presented by Jaeger FC. That sounds so
Nice.
professional, right?
It does. You know what? It sounds hard. It sounds like it says.
It sounds like it's hard hitting.
Yes.
So we had our previous podcast was to talk about the fantastic services over at Any Baby Can. Now this podcast is going to be talking to two babies. So there you go, two grown babies. Is that the best way to describe this?
God, I was going to say something. I can't. You know, I just have to be real careful because I know. some
No,
people
you
might
don't. Come on.
This you don't want to shake a baby. This is what happens.
Just so you
Like-
know.
Golly, and this. You know what? And I do that, and because my wife and I don't have any kids, and she'll go, "See, that's why we don't.
Yeah.
That's why."
This is why we can't take you out. This is why we can't take you out. So Dan Ingle is, can I call you Dan? Is that okay?
Yeah.
you-
I'm at that age where I should probably, you know what? I should drop the Danny at certain time, you know, it's just so, it's been out there so long.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It's been out there
So,
forever.
so Danny Ingle, longtime comedian here in South Texas and throughout the entire world.
Yeah, I've been lucky.
You have.
Lucky to go across overseas, both, Japan, South Korea, Europe, gone all the way down to the Panama Canal.
You ever been to Colombia?
Been to Colombia.
Really?
Been to Colombia. I have to look on the map because there was a port out there, and I have to look to see what city. It's a beautiful city.
Was it in Cartagena?
Cartagena, that's what it was.
Really?
Yes.
I'm like making up
Yeah.
words, huh?
No,
Dude,
no, that's what
like-
it is. Look,
Really?
I can look it up on the map, and yeah,
Wow.
that's probably So that's where I was.
There's only two cities I know is like Cartagena because of Jewel of the Nile? No, Romancing the Stone. They were in Cartagena. in
Really?
Romancing
Okay.
the Stone.
I
And Medellin because of,
yeah, Juan.
Pablo. Yeah, Juan. I'm sure there's a few Juans that live in Medellin. But Danny Ingle is a longtime comedian, and we've got a show. And when I say we, Jaeger FC is producing a show over at Pico de Gallo on June the 21st, 7:30 p.m. Visit JaegerFC.com for more details. Danny, I'm excited. You and I have
Tickets
done
are going fast.
What's
What's the price on the tickets?
$10.
Only.
Only.
You forgot to throw that 10.
Only.
Yes, that's a great price.
Only $10 to see you. Yeah, to see me. I
Well-
would have to pay them $10 to watch me. But on the show, it's yourself. It's Zach Dixon. It's Brad C. SEA. That's
Okay,
what he
Brad.
goes by. Good, really funny local comedian, and myself. We're all going to be performing.
You'll be hosting the show.
I'll be hosting the
Okay,
show.
you'll be
Yeah.
hosting the show.
Yeah. So,
And we have a guest spot with another guest spot with
Patrick Christopher.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I didn't even tell you.
Yeah.
Patrick Christopher's going to
Yeah,
be on
he
the
gave
show.
us a little commitment that he'll
Yeah.
stop on
But
by.
man, that's a pretty. I mean, I am easily the low man on the totem pole on that. That's a good lineup.
It's a good lineup. It's a really good lineup. No, don't sell yourself short. You're on top of the pole. You're on
Really?
Yeah, you're on the
Speaking
pole
of
here.
pole, I was told I do very good physical comedy.
So there's a clip out, and if you haven't had a chance to see it, go look for that
Yeah.
clip. It's the how to get on stage
At the Artisan.
It's
By
if
Gabe
you have bad
Farias.
knees. This is
Yeah,
it.
that was it.
You did the slide. It was like that was an electric slide without
It was like
electricity.
if you've ever seen a fat kid slide into second base in Little League, that was it. Right
You were
there.
slide up base, yeah.
It was weird. And
Upwind.
I love that room. The Artisan's a great. It's a
Nice,
great room.
yeah.
But the stage, and it's a beautiful
So
setting.
something must have happened because it wasn't like that before. I don't remember. It was a nice little. I don't know what happened.
Well, so Ryan Herrera is hosting the show, and he says, "Hey, look, I want to show you something. Be careful." And he showed a comedian like falling off of the stairs. So I'm like, I'm not going to take that chance.
And he was actually coming off the stage.
Yeah.
And he had a drink in his hand, which was not
Double trouble.
Yeah.
Danny, how'd you get into comedy, man?
My cousin was doing comedy in the early '80s.
Okay.
And I went to my first open mic in 1981.
Whoa.
Wow, is that crazy? I didn't get up on stage though. I was just too afraid, and I was too scared. So I just And then
So you went to the mic, you just sat in the crowd and watched.
I watched,
Okay.
yeah, because I was going to sign up, and I said, "Ooh," and somebody, and And it was that time when there was tons of comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s. It was, boy, there's a lot going on. So that's something I always wanted to do. And fast forward, I did quite a few other jobs before I started doing comedy, but I was in sales for a long time. And I think that's what kind of helped, because you're always talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What was your first joke? What's your first stand-up? By the way, you like the White Sox in the skin. Look at that, man. Is there anything sexier than this?
you look like a person that would slide on stage with that with those socks.
You look like a married loser, is what I look like, right? What was your first? Yeah, what's the first joke you ever told?
First bit I did, I think it was because it actually happened. It was I think the lawn service bit where we just moved into our neighborhood. This was
Yes.
like 25 years ago. Moved in, and I was cutting my yard, and this elderly man stopped by, Caucasian man stopped by, and asked me how much I charged for
Yeah,
lawns.
that happens to me.
And
too.
I was like, I didn't even want to do this one. But so that's where I think that was the first bit I started working on. It was-
Wow, and
yeah.
it's since evolved, because I've heard that joke.
I've done, yeah, I'll bring it back every now and then.
Yeah.
And then, so it's just like, it's one of those keepers that,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, that's good. So you got to. I mean, I can only imagine. Hey, I love going on cruises to begin with.
That was, doing the cruise.
But you got to do cruise shows, and I was on a cruise this last summer, and I saw the lady that did. She sounded like, I don't know, a 90-year-old Laverne. Which one was Laverne? Which one was Penny Barshall? Was that Laverne?
She was Laverne,
That
because
was-
she
it
had
was
the L
like-
on her.
yeah,
on her
she was
shirt,
like-
yeah.
So what are you doing here on the boat? You know, one thing you can't do in a shower, have sex. She was terrible. I mean,
Really?
she was horrid. I thought, and she did like 13 minutes, and she got paid like money.
It's you. Now, which cruise line were you on?
Royal
Okay,
Caribbean.
yeah, that's they're good, because there's some of those cruise lines like Carnival. It's a party. It's just a party. People are just getting. Royal's a really nice one.
There
You
were
take your family.
there were a few spirits flowing on that cruise as well.
Oh, did you guys do the drink package?
We did. Yeah.
Oh, that's dangerous. No, it's good. And dangerous in a good way, because you're not driving.
Yeah.
So
Well, I got two small kids, and the only rule I gave to my 14-year-old and 16-year-old was don't push your brother overboard. That's the only rule. Other than that, leave us alone, because there's so much you could do on a cruise.
So they were the only two kids with life jackets on. The whole
Yeah,
time.
that's it. The entire time. Dan, so what do you got planned? I mean,
I've shows coming up, and we've got a lot of things that we talked
We
about.
do,
We're gonna do, and I really need to start working on my. That's the thing for me doing this. As long as I've been doing, I'm just terrible at social media, and when I say terrible, that means I'm not posting like I should.
yeah.
I recently started posting again and posted, so a lot of upcoming shows that, which is good. So,
Yeah. I only have MySpace, so yeah, I need to improve on the social media thing as well. Yeah. Hot
Yeah.
TV, sports, chubby 65. That means there's 64 other of those, right? Is MySpace still in existence?
I bet you it's floating up there somewhere.
It is, right?
In space.
And Tom as well.
Yeah. Well,
Tom was
I
the
think
lone
he
friend.
got his money and now that's how you do it. Get your money, and everybody knew who Tom was, and now you couldn't pick him out to save
He
your
owns
life.
an island,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
That's so.
And he goes,
That's
"This
so
is
funny.
this is my space." Right
Who are some of the guys that inspired you? I know that back in the day, because I've got my Mount Rushmore of comedy.
Okay, who's yours, and I'll give you mine.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna start with Lenny Bruce, but I never saw Lenny Bruce,
Really?
and I only say Lenny Bruce. I'm a historian
Yeah.
kind of guy, so I look at historical significances of comedians that do things that kind of
See,
pave the
now,
way.
I saw more people on TV as far as just like the Carson show.
Okay.
That I thought that like David Brenner was like one
Oh,
of my
yeah.
favorites back in the day. So yeah, I don't. And then Carlin, of course, Carlin's going to be up there.
Well, Richard Pryor's on mine.
Of course,
for sure.
yeah.
I'm a storytelling kind of guy. I don't think anybody's told stories as good as him. And then, like for me, as I get older, and as I see these comedians now, I like guys like Bill Burr. I think that guy is just hilarious.
Really funny guy. Really, yeah.
And it's a wide range. He's not necessarily on my Mount Rushmore, but I think Shane Gillis is insanely funny. He's kind of a
is funny.
guy's guy.
Well, you know,
Comedian.
we were talking the other day about that TV show that just came out.
Tires.
Tires.
Yeah.
And okay, so it's lowbrow humor.
It
It's
is.
just- and it's something that if you're young, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
As you get older, it's just like, oh, that's cute. That's funny. But
If you're a fan of Bridgerton, you're probably not going to like Tires. I'm just saying. Although I'm a fan of both. Look at that. I'm cultured and shit.
well,
There you go.
I don't really.
You ever watch Bridgerton?
No.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
I know. No, my wife watches it.
Does she? And,
Yes.
she's never made you watch it.
I have my own room.
Yeah.
so that's
So for all the stuff,
so
for
that's why-
all this, because Katie was like, I've watched, because she watched Tires, and then she's like, you're watching Bridgerton with me. But I'm like, but I don't. You made me sit
that's
through 6
funny.
episodes
Yeah,
of that.
so that's how you guys are.
It's
yeah.
tit for tat, man.
Yeah, no,
Yes, it is.
I watch a lot of sports. So I don't watch as much. So it just consumes me too much because I'm in the back. I have the sports bar set up at the house.
Yeah.
That's the only room I have in the house, but it's really nice. And I go there. So, you know, if we ever got in an argument, she goes, you know what, just go to your room. I said, I'd be glad
Well,
to.
yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Are you born and raised San Antonio?
Yeah, born and raised
And you went to John Jay?
John Jay. Yeah.
Marbach Road.
But you know, it was different back then. Totally different.
Yeah.
And it's funny when I say that because that was before the northern migration took over.
Well, y'all were still technically north side. Although I don't understand how people still say, no, I live in the north side. I go to Jay. I'm like,
Yeah,
you're
that
like
was
in the most west part of San Antonio.
that back then. It was
Yeah.
then because you know where Marbach and 410 there was it was all cattle and stuff back there on the other side.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So, I'm a high school football guy.
yeah,
And I've covered high school football for the better part of almost 3 decades now. And I say the most underrated high school football player that didn't make it. Now there's a caveat there because there have been some
Right.
underrated guys that made
Yeah.
it. This guy played at Jay, played at SMU. Anthony Beverly, you went to high school with him. I've seen clips of this guy. I think he might be the most underrated high school football player
one
ever.
of my best friends.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just he
And he's such a nice guy.
yeah he graduated from SMU.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, he and he was I think he was a psych major too because he'll sit and talk, and it's just like
I can see it.
yeah he gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
No, he's a good guy. He's a lot of
Enough
fun.
with Nietzsche already, for
Yeah.
the love of God. Is that a correct
Uncross my
reference?
legs. Can
Yeah.
I uncross my legs now? It's just-
But a lot of history at Jay, man. That's
Oh, yeah.
that's a great part of town, a great school.
you know, there was guys that were even older, like
Yeah.
one of them played with the Giants. Billy Taylor, I believe.
Yeah.
Billy
Yeah.
Taylor, Thomas Lott was
Mm-hmm.
he played at Oklahoma, and then I forgot where he went out. But yeah, there was some really good talent back then. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I was not. It's probably hard to believe this, but I was a little person at in high school. I was like 5'5", 120 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're a bigger. I mean, you grew.
yeah. I got up to at least 5'10".
There you
Thank
go.
goodness. Whew.
There you go, man.
And
And you still go about 150 right now?
on one
150,
side,
175?
yeah, one side.
Yeah. I mean, we're using the thinning cameras for this pod.
I was half the man I am today.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
So what do you think of some of the younger comedians here in San Antonio?
Funny, a lot of funny guys out
I
there.
know, right? There are.
Really good.
And
yeah.
gals.
And gals. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, when I say guys, I mean I don't consider like a female comic or a male comic. It's just a comic. If you're funny, you're funny.
Well, one has a vagina, one has a penis.
Well,
But,
okay,
I
yes,
mean,
we did take-
that's how it works, right?
And scene. and now we went to the dark side.
And now we did. No, but
Yeah.
there's some really funny, it was one of the funnier stories I remember having in comedy producing shows was when I produced your show
Mm-hmm.
for the first time at Chismosas. And I said, hey, you're very particular on who you want as far as guest spots for your shows. Rightfully so. You're an old school guy, man. You've got so when I called you, I said, hey, I got a young comedian who wants to do a guest spot, but I'm going to leave it up to you. And you were like, well, maybe. Who is it? I said, her name is Michelle Cantu. And you went, oh yeah, that's Tyrone's daughter.
Yeah.
And I went, no, I think you're thinking of the wrong Michelle. But her stepdad is Tyrone Thomas, who turned out to be one of my great friends and a great friend of yours that you worked at Butco
Yeah.
all those years. And that was kind of a weird small world coincidence.
And I knew her mom, Debbie. I mean, with Debbie,
Really?
we all worked together.
Yeah.
Debbie, she worked over at Bedco also. She
Oh,
was in
yeah.
the office there. So
Sweet people.
Yeah, and I think Michelle did a show with me before she did that one.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I said, okay, go. Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And I told her we've talked a number of times, and I was telling her, I said, you have that corporate vibe because
Oh,
where
God,
you come from,
yes.
so it's
Very
gonna
good.
it's gonna be a
Yeah.
plus. Because you're not just gonna walk on stage and I was smoking pot last night, and
Yeah.
that's all,
Yeah.
you
Anybody
get
here,
a lot of open
here
mics.
done shrooms?
Yeah. So it's just
Is that what you call them, Zach? Shrooms? I don't. You,
I called the cops.
is narc?
somebody has to lay the law.
Yeah, I like the young comedians. There's a lot of good young comedians
Yeah.
out there. Here locally, yeah.
And one of the things that's why I like work. I've taken a lot of people on the road because it's just so that way they could kind of get a grasp on things because they're so used to working together that they're picking up a lot of bad habits.
Yeah.
And it's different when and when I first started. But I was older when I first started. I was doing the open mics. I've been working for
Yeah.
years, and so I mean with the regular job and a mortgage and everything else. So it's like I had
Responsibilities
Yeah.
and all those things, yeah.
So and you're watching some of the seasoned comics that we had a lot of New York and LA comics that they would book, and you just like you should do this and that, and not should do, but this is one of the things that help you on stage. And I said I always took advice too, and now I just give it.
Now you just give advice. That's it. You just point fingers. Guys that are in that kind of age bracket, if you will, excluding me, because I started late. Guys like Leto and Steve Trevino and Roman. There's still some really good talent here that's seasoned, I guess, if you will.
Well, it's one of the things that I noticed, like with the younger comics, like with Zach. I watched when I first saw him. I said he had material.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, how long have you been doing comedy? He says, this is my first time on stage. I said, you liar.
Zach tends to fib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but and that's what I like. I like somebody who's worked at it and not just go up there, I'm going to wing it. I've had people just, I'm going to wing it when I get up there and say, well, you're not going to last long. And they didn't last long.
Yeah. Well, so when my jaunt into comedy started in 2017. And I'd met you because I did a podcast with Johnny Walker where we interviewed Anthony Beverly. We went over to Walk-Ons, and you were there with us. And when Marsha, Mahaffrey, who owned Jokester, said, you got to do it, I said, well, I know one local comedian. I had lunch with him. I got your number. I called you, and you kind of gave me the pep talk. Bro, do it. But you kind of gave me
Did I sound like that? Bro, you do it.
You said, hey, bro, let's go. You got to do it.
I answer the phone. I turned really Mexican. I was like,
yeah,
you could do it.
Just for that 20-minute conversation, you were insanely Latino.
Yeah.
But no, you gave me some great advice, and you were the guy that really talked me into giving it a shot. And you were the first guy to put
from
me
the ledge and on stage.
Yeah, and you gave me the first time I ever got to go on a real stage that wasn't a mic.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everything that you've done for this young comedian here. Yeah, whatever. I'm younger than you, at least. I don't know.
Well,
how many years.
that's true. You are younger. So that's good though.
Yeah, so we got the show coming up on the
dog year.
Yeah, we got the show coming up on the 21st. What else you got coming up this rest of the summer? I know that we've got some big plans that we're going to be releasing later on next few weeks. We got some shows that we're talking about. But we got the show on the 21st. What else you got going on?
Well, I think I've got things that are just starting to come up as far as because I mean, when you start booking long term. I've got something in East Texas, Northeast Texas in November. I've got September. I have a show down in South Texas. So in San Antonio, I think we might have a show over at Halftime Pizza on July the 11th.
Really?
Yeah. So that just popped up. We'll
nice.
See, on that one. So that's a new venue, and I think I'm going to jump on do a lot of the country clubs like I was doing it again.
Yeah.
Too. So
Danny, how can people reach out to you and book you? And what are your socials, if you will?
My socials are I'm on the Facebook.
You're on the book.
On the book.
We call
I'm
it the
on
book.
Facebook.
Okay.
I'm on Insta. The
Insta. Okay. Are you
Instagram.
on the Snap?
And I'm easy to find. Danny Ingle. It's just my name. I don't have any nicknames.
What's
or
it
anything.
short for? You had it. That's like a perfect showbiz name.
Daniel Ingle.
Really?
That's my professional
Is that
name.
like Ingeltines or something
No,
like that?
that's Ingle. Just Ingle. That's
really.
That's, yeah.
And you're Hispanic, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But my great grandfather loved Mexican food. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. So stupid.
Seamus Ingle
yeah.
loved Mexican food.
Yeah.
Enough said. There you go.
So, and let's see who. TikTok. I'm on TikTok.
Oh, wow. You're on the talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't posted a video in a while, so now I got to get. But and I was just putting silly stuff on there.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So last question before we end this wonderful
Man,
Jaeger FC Community Spotlight talk and or conversation. You're one of the comedians, and this is one thing I struggle with, and I struggle with it, and it is you can go out and do 45 minutes of the cleanest comedy, but you can also go out and do 45 minutes of edgy comedy. How do you draw that? How are you able to do that? How are you able to make that
Depends
difference?
on who's paying me.
Yeah. So if it's the
no, it's just you read the crowd.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Read the crowd, and you can tell who's going to want what. But then it could be wrong. And it's if it's where you're going to do it at. If it's a bar late at night,
chances
edgy
are
stuff,
you can say damn it.
Yeah.
Or
well, and
tit.
I just don't cuss, but I mean my material's kind of it's
You're pretty clean. Yeah.
well, and I'm not. I mean, I'm clean, but I don't try to advertise it as.
Yeah.
I just a long time ago I just said I just didn't want to cuss because I wanted to make it harder.
Yeah.
It's just like if you go to a job, you can't be Mother Fletcher.
Wow.
You have to work at the HEB checkout line.
Well, somebody
I hate
somebody asked me like describe Danny Ingle. Is he a clean comic? I'm like, Danny's a funny comic. He's just funny.
Thank you, Gabe. That
Funny is funny. I mean, there's
okay. So the other night we did a thing last weekend, and we had a very, very small crowd.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, well, they paid.
Yeah.
So I did 45 minutes.
You're a pro.
And so I said, well, they paid. And I said, I didn't know how, but I've just been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
You just kind of, just have fun with it. There's some people that would see a small little crowd.
Yeah.
And will bail on 5 minutes and say, okay,
I'm done. I'm out. No, you're a pro. And I admire that about you, that the first show was good. The second show, we had less people.
If there could even be less, there was less.
If that's possible.
Yeah.
And you went up there, you did 45 minutes, didn't complain, you did your job and got out of there.
Well, after being up there for 35 minutes, I asked, who paid, and nobody paid. So I said, well, okay, why am I giving you all my good stuff?
Yeah, I
No, I'm just
know.
kidding. No.
And you went into tier 2 and tier 3 of the comedy. But so June 21st at Pico de Gallo, JaegerFC.com for ticket information. Tickets are $10. We got a few left, but that's going to be a sold out. It's going to be a sold out show. Danny Ingle, Brad C., Zach Dixon, Patrick Christopher, and myself. Pico de Gallo on June the 21st. Danny, thanks so much. But we need to do more of this.
What?
We need to do more of this.
Oh, okay, yes.
What did you think I said?
I was already dozing off.
You were like,
okay.
I was
no.
What are we
No,
doing?
yes. Hey, I am available. Just let me know. Now I know how to get in here. It was just
I
like,
know, right?
Yeah.
The body cavity search was rather gentle, right?
Those two
Before you
guys
get
that
in,
were working
the two
outside,
guys
I
were
was
going to say, "All right, bend over. Here we go. We got to check you for contraband." Is that what you check? Is that what you get checked for when you get a cavity search? Is contraband?
Not exclusively.
it's what to expect.
That's what. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For Danny Ingle, I'm Gabe Farias, folks. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.